Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the May 2025 City Development Delegated Committee. My name is Councillor Bernadette Thomas, Chair of Council's City Development Delegated Committee, and I declare the meeting open at 6:32 p.m. I'd like to also acknowledge that we meet on the stolen lands of the Wurundjeri Wurrung and Boonwurrung Bunurong peoples of the Kulin Nation and pay my respects to elders, ancestors, families who have cared for country for many thousands of years. And I'd like to just remind everyone to please switch off their phones or put them onto mute. And I will just quickly check mine. Sorry. Yep, that's good. So I advise the gallery that this meeting is being recorded and will be available on Council's website. All care is taken to maintain your privacy, however your presence may be recorded. In accordance with Council's governance rules, meetings may not be photographed, filmed or recorded without the consent of the Chief Executive Officer. And I advise that there are no apologies for tonight's meeting. In accordance with the Local Government Act 2020, do any councillors have a conflict of interest in relation to any of the agenda items? No. Thanks, councillors. Usually it would be public question time, but I advise that Council has not received any public questions this evening. So it'll be a quiet meeting. So the first agenda is agenda item 5.1, confirmation of the minutes for the 25th of February 2025. I call for a councillor to move a motion. Councillor Yengi.
That the City Development Delegated Committee confirms the minutes of the City Development Delegated Committee meeting held on the 25th of February 2025.
Thanks. Call for a councillor to second the motion. Councillor Meredith. Oh, okay. Seconded. Great. Okay. All those in favour? Carried. Agenda item 6.1, Seddon Neighbourhood Plan Amendment C188. CEO, are there any requests to address the committee in relation to this item?
No, Chair, no requests.
Okay, then we'll go straight to calling for a councillor to move a motion for this report. Thanks, Councillor Yengi. You get to read out the long one, I think.
That the City Development Delegated Committee, 1, endorse the revised Seddon Neighbourhood Plan 2025 and Amendment C188 as outlined in Attachment 3 and 4. Note that the recommendations in the Seddon Neighbourhood Plan 2025 as Council's formal position for the future use and development of the area in responding to State Government's Activity Centre program, requests the Minister for Planning authorisation to prepare an exhibition amendment classification 188 to the Maribyrnong Planning Scheme in accordance with the Planning and Environment Act 1987, Attachment 4, delegate to the Director Planning and Environment and Manager City Development the ability to make any necessary minor changes to the amendment documentation when requesting authorisation. Subject to authorisation being granted by the Minister for Planning, resolve to place Amendment C188 on public exhibition as prescribed under Section 19 of the Planning and Environment Act 1987. Note the delegation of the Director Planning and Environment and Manager City Development to consider all submissions received to Amendment C188 and refer submissions that cannot be resolved to an independent panel appointed by the Minister for Planning in accordance with Sections 22 and 23 of the Planning and Environment Act 1987. And note that community consultation has occurred regarding the Austin Street Pop-Up Park with a further report to be presented to Council in mid-2025 to consider the outcomes of that consultation and whether to progress with the project.
Thank you. Can I call for a councillor to second the motion? Councillor Semra. Are there any questions or points of clarification, councillors? Would the mover like to speak to the motion?
Formally moved.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak to the motion? Would any other councillors like to speak to the motion? Thanks, Councillor Pereira.
Just to thank the staff and the community for working through this process for the Seddon neighbourhood, and that I think that there's a lot of exciting things in this plan. It gives some clarity around the types of building form that we want to see, that is a combination of inviting a good scale of development, I think, while also protecting some of the public amenity that exists in Seddon. And there's lots of other exciting things that I think can happen through this plan, increasing some garden spaces within the road reserves and making it a nicer place to walk and cycle and be, and lots of other nice little things like the Woody Meadows project that can be expanded, and opportunities to connect some of the existing parks through a story with First Nations people. So I think sorry, I'm a bit sick. Yeah, I think there's lots of exciting things, and I'm looking forward to seeing this come to life.
Thank you. I might just say a couple of things if no other councillors would like to say anything. So this plan it's the culmination of, I think, 3 or 4 years of work by our council planning department and the community, with many hundreds of people giving their input over that time during the various consultation opportunities. And this is a long-term plan. It has a long-term vision. It doesn't aim to achieve like every single kind of small action. What it does is tries to guide decision-making in the future, to sort of direct it to a certain direction, I guess, around how the urban form will look like, how the suburb, and particularly the sort of the inner parts of Seddon will grow and change over time. And so it gives that opportunity for the community to, I think, understand how that growth is going to evolve over time. It's not going to happen overnight, and certainly it's not prescriptive about everything that's going to change, but it is hoping to, I guess, keep the good stuff that the residents of Seddon really like about Seddon, but also understand that we do need to bring additional people into the space, and we want to do that as sensitively and with sort of respect to the history of the suburb, and as I said, the nature of the suburb that makes it a really great place to live. It's a principles-based document, so as I said, it's not prescriptive in every way, but it allows everybody to understand how that change is going to take place. And it also sort of acts as a lead on the activity centre program work that the state government has released. Middle Footscray has been identified as one of those areas, which of course, that will ultimately spill over into Seddon. So it's a little bit of a, I can't think of the word, but a little bit of doing the work pre some of those decisions being made, so that council can and the community can say, well, here is how we would like our suburb to change, and hopefully the state government will be able to take that on. So yeah, again, thanks to everybody who did put in some input into the process, and should councillors vote in favour tonight, what it means is that it will go to the minister and hopefully come back with the approval to put it on public exhibition again. So there'll be another opportunity for people to have another look at it and provide input. So on that note, I'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Thanks, councillors. That motion is carried. So we'll move on to agenda item 6.2, consideration of planning permit application at 81 to 85 Ashley Street, Braybrook. CEO, are there any requests to address the committee?
No, Chair, no requests to address.
Okay, it's a quiet night tonight. So a call for a councillor to move a motion. Thanks, Councillor Lamb.
Office of recommendation. Thank you. That the City Development Delegation Committee, number 1, issues the notice of decision to amend a planning permit to allow use of the land for the warehouse and restrict retail, partial demolition and building and works, reduction in the car parking requirement, and to alter access to the road in the transport zone 2 at 81, 85 Esley Street, Braybrook, subject to condition contained in Attachment 1. Number 2, not the delegation of the Merida City Development to settle any matter before the Victorian Civil and Administrative Tribunal which might arise as a result of the issuing of this planning permit.
Thanks, Councillor. Can I call for a councillor to second the motion? Councillor Semra. Councillors, are there any questions or points of clarification? No? Would the mover like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just briefly, I'm very pleased to see that 40 West House 11 store at the Commercial Zone 2 been operated at the Braybrook area, and I'm sure there will be bringing more local business in the area, creating some more jobs in the local community and amenities, and more business people come and using the service there, and there's really a lack of. So I'm very happy to support that and support this planning application.
Great, thanks. Would the seconder like to speak to the motion? No? Okay, it's formally seconded, great. Would any other councillors like to speak to the motion? No. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? And the motion is carried. Thanks. So we've got councillor question time. Before I read through all the instructions, do any councillors have any questions? No? Okay, then I'm going to just close councillor question time before opening it, if that's okay. And councillors, are there any items of urgent business? No? Okay. Then we're at the end of the meeting. So I declare the meeting closed at 6:44 p.m.